Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, cover Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People, here reporting live from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver, Colorado, as we are preparing for Bryce Young to have his return. I see he is out here walking right now, so you'll probably see him coming by in just a second. And we're going to have a great show for you guys today. We got special guests. Hold on one second. All right. We got a special guest, Chris Lee of WRAL out of Raleigh, that's going to be joining us shortly. But I think just now you'll see Bryce walking by in about one more second. Here we go. I'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit so you guys can check him out. He's getting his balls out of the bag. But nevertheless, Bryce Young will be getting his start today. And there he goes, going right by again. So Bryce Young is out here getting his start today. I also saw Jack Plummer. Can't put him into the screen exactly right now, but he's out here getting warmed up, going through his routine as well. And it is a beautiful day. It is talk about best weather possible, fall weather in Denver. We have it right now here. As it's, I don't know what the temperature is exactly, but I think it's going to be about in the 80s. So let's go ahead and roll into the show. Again, like the channel. If you enjoy these pregame shows live from the field, do me a favor. Just simply hit the like button. It's free. It does the world of difference for us. We're independent media, 100% supported by you viewers out there. So the more you guys hit the like button, the more we can get players and coaches on the show and do cool stuff like be here on the field. If you enjoy it, please hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing, as well as becoming a member. There's a link in the description to become a member. So again, in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to have Chris Lee from WRAL joining us today. He's going to talk with us about this Broncos and Panthers matchup. But I also like to know where you guys are from, okay? I always like to know where you're from, so leave a comment where you're from, and then score predictions today. Panthers, again, starting Bryce Young today. Got some guys that are inactive. Well, inactive list is coming out, but we got some guys that are out. We got the inactive list that are coming through shortly. And I'm curious to know how you fans out there are feeling about this matchup today, what you think we're going to be seeing out there on the field. Let me give a few shout-outs as well. And by the way, I'm going to be burning up today. Here in Denver, they won't let me use my shade blocker. So what that means is I'm going to be about 15 degrees hotter than normal. Maybe, I won't say maybe. I'm going to be sweating by the end of the show, but it's all good. I love what I do, and I love doing these shows for you guys. Let me go ahead and give a few shout-outs. And the music here is good. They got some good music. T. Green's in the building. What's going on? Roadmaster, Shackhead, Panther Blazer, Dank Merks. You guys see Bryce Young right there working out. QB1 working it out. QB1 working it out. Antonio, Jackson White. Lots of people. So, again, I appreciate everybody that's tuning in, going to watch the show today. We're going to go ahead and roll right on into it, man. Got a lot of stuff to cover today. Last time that we were here, I was here as well. That was in 2016. That was the rematch, right? We had just lost to the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl. Cam had that hit on him where he didn't go for the ball, so we were like, okay, we're gonna get our redemption. Even though we were a little disappointed that we're going to be opening the season on the road, came out here to Denver, was excited. Thursday night game opener. We started out pretty darn good, winning the whole game. Then come the fourth quarter, the wheels came off. They ended up scoring, I think, about 14 points in that fourth quarter. We ended up losing that game 21-20. I was sitting in that press box. You probably can't see it right behind me. Marty Herney was in the press box that time too. Our starters, Cam Newton, that game had a not-so-great game, unfortunately. Had under a 70. I think he had about a 65 passer rating. Had just almost 200 yards passing. Our leading rusher that day was none other than Jonathan Stewart with about 90 yards. And then, you know who our leading receiver was back then, 2016, after that Super Bowl? Kelvin Benjamin. He was still on the roster. Had a touchdown and nearly had 100 yards. So we're back, hoping for different results, hoping for better results. And, yeah, I want to give you guys that flashback. That was the last time I was here, and it's very good to be back. So Denver, Colorado, home to the Broncos, but also home to Carolina Panther rookie Shaw Smith. I got a feeling you guys want to see a little bit more of Bryce Young. He's just out of the screen here. So I'm going to widen up the view just a little bit. because I love you guys. There we go. There you go. Now you get to see Bryce Young in the background warming up. If that doesn't get me a like, share the stream. What will? Bryce Young in the background warming up. Does he look locked in? Does he look focused? I don't know. One thing that definitely hasn't changed for Bryce is his routine. He has the same routine from when he was starting those first 2 games to when he was benched to now when he's starting. So you got the same routine. Hopefully we're going to get some good different results. But Shaw Smith-Wade is a Denver native. He's a member of the Carolina Panthers. He's a rookie. I got a chance to talk to him during the preseason, but also caught up to him this week because he has continued to get an increased role with this team as we face injuries. Had his first start last week. Will continue to get some time today. Here's Shaw Smith-Wade on returning to his hometown of Denver, Colorado.
This game was really just a get my feet wet game. Being able to take advantage of the opportunity of being able to start that week as a nickel. Being able to experience the speed of the game at such a consistency level. That's really what it was for me, being able to really match up with the speed at a consistent level.
What did you learn from that game last week that you're going to take into this week?
Minor things like, I had the holding penalty on me and I had the pass interference penalty on me. I mean, technically, the refs, they giving me that. So, just being able to play without my hands, being able to use my feet and be effective in that regard. Reverse elevation was a thing for me. Coming down here and feeling the different elevation, that was a thing for me. But I can't really tell the guys, get ready for this elevation because I'm used to it. I don't feel the elevation. Okay. So, they might, but I don't know. Yeah.
Since we're returning home to Denver, man, how many ticket requests we done had so far?
Dog, I can't even count. I can't even tell you the exact number, but it's been a lot. Friends, family, but I'm not paying for the tickets. I'm not paying for the tickets.
Hey, a lot of guys, a lot of people have asked for those tickets, but Shaw Smith-Wade will not be providing those tickets to those people. But hey, hope you guys come out, have a good time. So that's cool. He gets to return to his hometown, get a start, hopefully have a good showing. And he said he did have a good thing, some things that he learned last week in Washington. So hopefully we'll see that continue to translate to some more positive play out here on the field today. Sorry about that. Just seeing some of the comments that are coming through. All right, so let's go ahead and continue to rock through everything, get you guys, again, ready for this game today. So first up was Shaw Smith-Wade. Next up, as we continue to take our look back at the week that was in the locker room leading up to this Broncos game, we're a mile high above sea level. Yes, a mile high above sea level. And typically, it's something that only affects you once you start doing some activity. I say typically because I'm currently in search of some aspirin because I feel like I'm getting headaches as my body adjusts. I mean, I'll just be walking around, just kind of feel like a little bit woozy. So there's many different things that could affect you with this high altitude, but certainly if you're out here playing on this field, it's going to be the oxygen needed, the lack of oxygen this high up. Xavier Legette, the big guy out of South Carolina that has a pivotal role today. We don't have Deontae Johnson. We were hoping to get Adam Thielen back. We don't have him as well. Talk to Xavier about, hey, man, how's the big guy? You used to be up high on them horses, but not this high. How are you going to prepare for this week with that altitude?
They telling me it's hard to breathe, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to have to do different to be able to breathe out of it. I'm trying to stay on the field all game.
You ever thought about what those are masks that some guys wear, right?
That masks don't do nothing. They don't work. They don't work.
Have you tried one before?
Yeah. I tried it last year. It don't work.
If you get the second one, what would the celebration be then?
You're going to see it. I'm going to make sure you see it.
Oh, it's going to be something different?
Yeah, it's going to be a little something different. I'm going to crank something different.
So Xavier's saying, I tried that mask. It don't work, man. It's just some hype. So he is going to be out here. Didn't do any masks this week. You know, those masks that you've seen players wear that kind of restricts their breathing, which helps build up their breathing. He didn't wear it, and he's just going to see what it is. And hopefully, he says, this is Bronco country. I don't know if the horse is out. He was out earlier today. He is not out right now. Bryce is just out of screen. I'm going to continue to try to give you guys good glimpses of Bryce as he's warming up without distracting too much from the broadcast. But nevertheless, he's going to just have to work with it on the fly. Now, earlier I did see the Bronco. If you look over on Twitter, I put a picture of the Bronco that was out here riding the horse. And Xavier talked about his touchdown celebrations, right? He was just asking, what if you get a couple? He said, I got something special planned for you guys. So that would be cool to see him ride that horse out here in Bronco country. I mean, what would be better than seeing Xavier Legette connect early with Bryce, get a touchdown, and hear it in Broncos ride dollar bill around in that touchdown? That would be awesome to see, and I'm all cheering for it. Let's continue to work through these things, get you guys ready for this game today. Now, there's some advice that Josie Jewell had for those guys that are dealing with this altitude. Hopefully, I think his locker is far. Yeah, his locker is far away from Xavier's, but
it's just staying hydrated and trying to stay on an extra healthy week and try to take advantage of it. It's going to be tough just going from sea level to up there. The simplest one for me is just you walk up stairs, maybe hotel stairs, and you're going to be breathing hard. So it's just that stuff. I'm sure after a couple of minutes, maybe first quarter, people get used to it and stuff like that. So it should be good.
All right, so there was Josie Jewell talking about adjusting to the elevation. The key is, and you guys know I got it with me, stay hydrated. And Rashad of PNP made fun of me before. I was drinking some Chicago Bears water one pregame, because what I do a lot of times, I'll just grab a bunch of water because I never know when I'm going to need water, and I'll put it on. This says, I don't know if you guys can see it there, it says Arrowhead. That's kind of interesting. Arrowhead water here at Mile High Stadium, now actually called Empower Field. I got a special guest that looks like he's on and about ready to join us here today. Chris Lee of WRAL out of Raleigh, also with the Panthers playbook, is going to be joining. We're going to talk some Panthers. We're going to talk some Broncos. He doesn't know that I have a great intro lined up for him, so I'm going to see if I can get this going. And I always highly promote every guest that comes on the show. I love them all. I think they all do a very good job. So I want you – there's a link in the description to check out Chris. But if you guys found yourself watching the game last week against the Washington Commanders and just kind of wondering what to do, I'm just going to let you know you were not alone in that, all right? Let's see if I can get this to go right. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did I mess it up? I think I messed it up. Hold on. We're going to try it again. I'm sorry. I messed it up. We're going to try one more time. Oh, I think I messed it up completely. Let's see here. Oh, Chris, I think I messed it up, man. I messed it up. Nevertheless, Chris Lee, WRAL. I tried to play it well. The clip, I think it's playing in my background, so hold on. Again, I'm out here alone on the field trying to get all this stuff going, and I think it's still playing in my ear. So let me clear this out, and then we'll get started with you on the show, Chris, in just a second. Where is it? There we go. All right, we're going to close that out. And all right. What's going on, Chris?
What's happening, man? How you doing? How's Denver treating you?
It's a beautiful day out here, man. It is a very beautiful – I think it's about 80 degrees. Nice little overcast, so it's not too hot. And it feels like we're in, like, Florida. Beautiful. Stadium's awesome.
Okay. Sounds good. That's just one of those stadiums I've always wanted to go to and see what it's like. So I'm glad you're getting a chance to witness it, and hopefully you get a chance to witness a win for your team.
A win would be a great thing. I don't know if you're able to boost up your mic at all. I got you as loud as I can, but you seem just a tad bit low for me.
Is this a little bit better?
That is a lot better. Thank you so much. Hey, Chris, how were you feeling last week after that Commanders game? I had some technical difficulties there, but that intro that you guys do for your show was awesome.
I mean, that was like one of those authentic moments. You couldn't plan anything like that. It's just that's how we were feeling, because since Andy Dalton stepped into the starting lineup, offense has looked better, offense has looked pretty good, and it's really been a defense that has let the Carolina Panthers down for the most part. And then last week, he regressed back to all three phases of the ball looking bad for the Carolina Panthers. So, you know, you don't want to feel like you're regressing at all. You want to feel like you're progressing in something. And just like last week was just one of those weeks, like after feeling pretty good about your chances against the Commanders, and to get smacked like that, it was just, it's kind of hard to think.
Very, very smacking is a good way to put it. I think the kids call it BTA. I think that happened last weekend for the Carolina Panthers. But let's go ahead and talk about the weird things that continue to happen here in Carolina. This week, to me, it was just weird. You know, you have Andy Dalton that gets into a car accident. Out of everybody in that accident, he's the only one that's reported with an injury. And guess what? It's an injury to his throwing hand, and even more particular, to his thumb. And all week, Coach said that, well, not all week, but at the start of the week, Dave Canales said that it wasn't anything torn. It wasn't too bad. But the week goes through, and Andy doesn't practice all week. He's not even limited in practice all week. And then Andy was asked about whose decision was it to shut you down. And I'm going to play this clip for you real quick. Then I want to get your comments on everything. Let's see if I'm terrible today, Chris, with finding all my clips. This is terrible.
Good, man. People don't understand live TV. There's a lot going on, especially if you're solo and you're running everything. You're the director, you're a producer. I feel you, man.
Here we go. Here's Andy on who made the decision for him playing this week or practicing.
Did you want to play it, or did they shut you down, or you knew that there's no way that you could go this week?
I mean, right now, I definitely couldn't. So I think everybody knew that, and so I think making the decision now allows the team and for Bryce to, get all the reps that he needs and go forward from there. So, but again, we'll see as the week goes. See if I'm able to get back.
Now, Chris, if you can, I guess give me a little bit more volume on that mic, please. But Andy goes, well, he didn't really answer the question. So, Chris, I want to go ahead and throw it to you. What do you think about the craziness that's going on in the Carolinas?
Yeah, it feels like there's I don't want to say snake bitten as a franchise or anything like that, but like it just feels like everything that can go wrong will go wrong for the Carolina Panthers. Is literally Murphy's Law, all in together. But it's unfortunate he got into that car accident. It kind of made me think about back in like 2017, 2018 when Cam Newton got into that car crash on 277 in Charlotte. But he was able to play, that week after his car flipped upside down. It's just interesting to see kind of what happens. But it's unfortunate. I wish Andy was able to play in this game today because I'm just not sure what we're going to get with Bryce. He came in as this guy who's told us that he's going to be this great processor. He's going to be this accurate guy. And I feel like we saw that for a good chunk of last year. But at the end of last season, it's like he lost his confidence. And that's what we saw at the beginning of this season. So, I hope that he's ready. But also not having Deontae Johnson or Adam Thielen in the lineup for him, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. But just back to that thumb thing, I just feel like, and I don't get into the whole conspiracy theories on things and that kind of aspect, but it's like the guy, did somebody say, hey, this is a really good time to bring Bryce back, and we're not even going to make it seem like Andy has a chance. So, Andy, you just shut it down. You don't even throw one ball all week. We're going to get Bryce out there, no distractions. Anyway, it's weird. What are your expectations for Bryce today?
I didn't see that as like something like I didn't see that situation and think that it was like anything going on with that or just that somebody forced him to sit down or anything like that. But it's legit. I mean, if he's right-handed and he's gripping the steering wheel and something happens, if a car crash or whatever, I could see how he could hurt himself.
Chris, I drive with my left with one hand because I got my gear shift on the right. He driving a Tesla, and the gear thing is on the right on the Tesla a little bit higher up. So, again, I don't like to go into this. It's just like, man, there's so many weird things going on. But we'll move on because I got limited time, which I appreciate you tuning in with us today. Bryce Young gets his first start since week 2. What are you expecting from Bryce Young today?
sorry, it kind of broke up just a little bit. What was your question?
Sure. Bryce Young getting his first start since week 2. What are you expecting from Bryce Young today?
I would hope that first off with the game plan from the coaching, don't force him to throw it more than 32 times. Please, be run heavy and be and not panic and make Bryce kind of air it out, because I think that's not going to be good for anybody. So I think that's one. I want him to be decisive, and I want him to be accurate with the ball. That means not holding the ball, not forcing sacks, right? After Andy Dalton came in, he didn't get sacked much behind that offensive line. We know that offensive line has been one of the best in the NFL over the last few weeks. But when Bryce Young was behind him, he would hold on to the ball a little too much at times, and he'd force some sacks. So I want him to be decisive to get rid of the ball, and I also want him to be accurate. Also, I want him to take some chances down the field, because I feel like there's too many times he's way too conservative in the way that he throws the ball. He tries to check it down way too much. So I want him to try to take some chances as well with that ball. Especially he's going to have receivers who have some sure hands. Xavier Legette's shown us that he has some sure hands. So toss it up to them.
Yeah, check down Bryce. I'll make it clear, nothing against Bryce the person, but man, I hope to be pleasantly surprised at the end of this game. He came in last week in Washington, threw 2 passes for negative yards. You just have to be concerned about his output today. Now, it's so hard to predict what's going to be like in the future for this team, because there's literally 100 broken parts, right? So what part do you start first? It changes the scenario for other pieces. But what is your current thoughts on the outlook of Bryce Young for this Carolina Panthers?
I think this game will show us a lot, right? If he has kind of improved, if he has his confidence there, then I think I think the team needs to be willing to kick the tires and see what's there for the future. Because you've spent a lot, you've given away a lot to get, and you have to do your due diligence to see if it's going to work out and give him every chance possible. But today goes a long way towards that, right? If he doesn't do well with today's game, if he looks like he's not confident, if he looks like he's not somebody who can do the job with this game, then maybe that helps the decision out later on. Maybe it helps you with the idea that you might need to trade him in the offseason or draft somebody else or something like that. So I think a lot of that rides on this game in particular, and I'm hoping that he succeeds, because I want him to succeed. But at the same time, though, he's got to make sure that he puts it together and shows that he's a pick for a reason.
Yeah, we got, I said earlier, we got 100 pieces that need to be fixed here. There's also lots of rumors about trades. And Deontae Johnson has been one of the top guys that has been considered or talked about for trades. I've got a clip up here I'm going to play about Deontae on the frustrations he's been experiencing. Then again, I'm going to throw it back to you, Chris, about your thoughts on that.
It's in the past, can't do much about it. Just move forward and get ready for Denver, figure out the game plan and just attack each and every day at practice.
Is there anything that you go to address with the coaches or quarterbacks to say, hey, I'm seeing anything like this? We have those conversations?
We had those conversations, but it's more so, just taking it one day at a time and just focusing on the details. It's obviously a rebuilding year. We're not really playing good football right now. We got a lot of people hurting and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We're just still trying to find that, that niche or whatever. So, like I said, that's going to take care of itself, just taking it one day at a time.
So there we have Deontae Johnson. Actually, Chris, I think I can help you out with the volume on for people to hear you. So everybody tuning in, let me know if you can hear Chris better now. I just made an adjustment. And also, super quick, Chris, always got to do it. We're independent media, supported 100% by these viewers out there. We just got a super chat from Mark. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit once I let Chris go. But thank you, Mark, for that super chat contributing to the team. Chris, Deontae, he had a rib injury that's been listed on the injury report now for 2 weeks. He said that it's not his rib, it's his oblique. He said he can play through it. He didn't practice all week. He's inactive today. Is Dante going to be with us?
It doesn't look like it. Looks like maybe his time in Carolina is going to be short. I like Deontae. I think he's a good player, but also some of the things that kind of came out of Pittsburgh about him before he was here, about sometimes he having a bad attitude, feels like sometimes it's kind of coming true a little bit. I feel like he's a great player, but a lot of it could just be his approach. He's taken time to kind of throw some people under the bus before. Like I remember hearing last week after the Commanders game, I think he said something to Joe Person like he can't make every play on the field at every position. And it's kind of like you don't have to say that. When we ask you questions, that's not something that you have to say. Like you're going out of your way to do that, and that alienates people in the locker room. And no matter how talented you are, and I think he's a very talented receiver, that could cause problems for a team. And for a young team that is not winning right now, that needs to get some wins and that's currently rebuilding, I'm not sure that is the person that you need for that. But make no mistake about it, I love his talent. I wish he would work out here. It would be cool to have Deontae Johnson as the #1 receiver, but if he's going to bring that attitude to work every week, yes, I'm sure it's very frustrating for me. I'm sure it's very, very frustrating. But if you're going to bring that attitude to work, it's just not going to work for me.
Hey, is there any trade, whether it's not, it's been talked about in the media, is there any trade that you would like to see happen for this Panthers team?
I take the position that if Dan Morgan feels like he finds something or gets the right pick, if somebody is going to offer like a 3rd or 2nd round pick for somebody or whatever, then you might have to take that. But they have 9 picks coming up in the draft in 2025. So I don't think that there's much of a need to do too many trades right now, unless you just really want to load up and get over 10 picks for next year's NFL draft. For me, like I've said this on Panthers Playbook, for Bryce, I wouldn't let him go for anything less than a 3rd, right? 3rd or better, 3rd, 2nd, or he's not going to get a 1st, but 3rd, 2nd, right? Some people are saying that right now it's rumored that teams are offering a 4th, and to me that's just not enough for it. So I think for Dan Morgan, if he's going to get the right compensation for guys, then pull those triggers. But he's in a good position to where he doesn't necessarily have to, because the team already has 3 draft picks next year.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I need some security out here, man. I don't know if you see it. They're really testing me out here today. They're throwing the football almost literally over my head back and forth. And I don't want to make that ESPN highlight, but I'm going to try to maintain out here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the defensive side, because I know I got to let you go here. Appreciate that you taking the time this morning. Again, Chris Lee has joined us. He's a WRAL affiliate out of the Raleigh area. And talk about the defensive side, all right? So this Carolina Panthers team hadn't had the best defense. We've been banged up, no doubt. We played Bo Nix, he's been a game manager. He's been a serviceable guy, 5 TDs, 5 interceptions. He uses his legs a lot of times as well to extend plays and continue to keep the chains moving. I got one clip I'm going to play from Ivero, and then I want to get your thoughts on what our defense has to do today in order to give ourselves a chance to win, even though it seems like that's a hard thing to do, man.
Well, they're doing a good job with their protections and their schemes up front. And then he's just hard to tackle. I mean, that's just the reality. It's guys will get to him, and he's got the speed to get out of the pocket. He's got the ability to he's strong, so he can work through arm tackles. He can extend plays. So it's a combination of both, and they've been doing a good job. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
All right, Chris, right before you get in there, I want to show you guys, there is Bryce and crew. I can't zoom in. Maybe give you guys a quick zoom in. It's probably the best I can do for you for a second there. Bryce and crew, Xavier Leggett, and then we got Robert Hunt, big lineman, about to walk through here. Jack Plummer out there as well. But let me step back in here. Chris, go ahead and talk about this Panthers team today, and the defense and stopping Bo Nix. And is it possible? What kind of chance do we have today?
I don't have a lot of faith in defense right now, because I mean, as you said, there's a lot of injuries, and you would want somebody like Derek Brown to be there. He's not going to be there for the rest of the year. You would want to make sure that Shaq Thompson is there. He's not going to be here for the rest of the year. And then also, I don't know if you've heard anything on Josie Jewell, if he's going to be coming back today or anything like that. But it would help if more starters were able to play for the Carolina Panthers defense. I think they need to get back to the basics, man. Try to stop the run as much as you can. Make sure you have that great gap integrity and fill your particular gap and be sure with the tackle. It just feels like nobody has been on the same page for the Panthers defense this year, even with all the folks being out with the injuries. And so I also want to see Trevin Wallace continue to step up. He's done a good job to me in the last few weeks. A couple weeks ago, he had something like, 13 tackles in a game. So, there's a lot that needs to happen with this defense, but mainly get off the field on third down. Do not let teams continue to have the ball. Like in that Atlanta game, there were 9 meaningful drives for the Falcons, and the Panthers get off the field only twice, right? And the Falcons scored on 7 of those 9 drives. If Denver has 9 drives today, they need to try to at least get off the field, make them punt 5 times. If they can make them punt 5 times at least, and the offense doesn't turn the ball over, that gives them a chance to actually win the game.
Now, Chris,
that's what I'm looking for: tackling and getting off the field on third down.
Now I don't know all the stats, but I feel like you're talking about something that hasn't happened all year. I really do.
In the Raiders game.
Okay, that one time against the Raiders, but I feel like, because I know I've been saying, Panther fans, whenever the team scores their first time, the opponent, count on the next 5 out of 7 possessions that they're going to score. I'm not saying it's always a touchdown, but that's how it's been with this team. Like, once that team scores, the floodgates open up and they just keep going. And it's not like until they wave the white flag does something slow down. And the ability to stop the run has been absolutely horrible. Daniels, he only played 1 series for us last week. But that 1 series, I don't know how many yards, but I feel like he had 50 yards rushing in the 1 series that he was out here. Completely, and now we got Bo Nix, a guy that can kind of do the same thing with his legs. It just seems like it's setting it up for a very, a pretty big uphill battle for this Carolina Panthers team. And, yeah, we'll wait and see. Any closing things? Again, I like to respect the time. I appreciate you jumping on this morning. Any closing remarks that you have, things you want to point out about this game?
It's just mainly, though, I just hope that this team gets better. That's one of the main things I'm looking for as far as this particular team. Like, don't let what happened last week happen. And also just be competitive. I'll take a loss if the loss is 24-21, right?
Oh, that's money.
Game.
Yeah.
It means you were in the game. It means that there was a chance. But if you let this thing get out of hand early, it doesn't bode well for anybody. And so just be competitive in the game. And that's the main thing that I ask for this game.
Can we get some pressure on Bo Nix? That's something else we don't get. We did get a sack last week, but it was literally on I think Mariota's second play being there, which you could say, okay, he's still taking a second to get used to it. And then after that, it was just like off to the races. As you know, they scored 40 points last week. So Chris, thank you so much, man. You're invited to come back on anytime you want. Links in the description to check him out. Chris Lee of WRAL and also Panthers Playbook. Appreciate you, sir.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Take care. All right, so that was Chris Lee of WRAL joining us. Appreciate him taking the time very much. We got some more things to get you guys through this morning, get you ready for this matchup. I hope you're enjoying the view behind me. Continue to please hit that like button if you're enjoying this video, and subscribe if you really, really like the video. It helps us continue to expand. Now, I said I was going to go back because we did have a super chat that came in, and our super chats get special love. We got a super chat from Mark Burks. Mark Burks, appreciate you supporting the channel. BY9 has to show the heart of a man playing for his career. That ho-hum isn't it. It's starting to look like a lack of self-awareness at this point. Mark, I'm going to give you a round of applause for that comment there. Big round of applause for that comment, because I have something very, very similar to that I want to talk about. His ho-hum attitude. And I wouldn't so much say ho-hum, even though I know where you're going with that. But I just say he's a humble guy, which I appreciate. I'm a pretty low-key guy myself. But there are certain situations where my words may change or my expressions may change, even though my voice inflection may not go like I'm growling at you because of passion coming out or determination that I have. And I'm still, like you, Mark, I'm not happy that I'm not seeing that from Bryce Young. I got to play a clip for you. Bryce this weekend in the locker room talking about his return. And to me, this gives you – to me, it drives home that point of like, man, I want a little bit more. Dan Morgan talked about it time and time again when he was making his draft picks this year. Somebody with that dog. And now we all know that Cam's a reference, right? Cam was one of those ultimate alpha dogs. Bryce doesn't need to be that. He can be who he is. You know, Russell Wilson's not a guy that's just like, oh, rah, rah, rah. A lot of quarterbacks not as loud, if you will, as Cam is. But let's go ahead and play this clip of Bryce talking about this week.
Just trying to get as many mental reps I could. Obviously having a ton of conversations with Andy, as I always have, you know, with my time here. But just a different perspective. But again, just trying to get mental reps on the sideline the last couple of weeks. You know, for me, it's just day by day. Again, I'm not really a huge big picture, send a message. Big thing, again, I want to do everything I can to be the best I can today during meetings and practice, and then obviously do everything.
I'm not sure what happened there. Let me try to play that again. The screen went black on my part. Let me try that again.
On Sunday, whatever comes from that, and you know how things are perceived in the building, throughout the World League. That's always stuff, no matter what it is, stuff I can't control.
How hard were the last 5 weeks, and how did you deal with it?
Again, it was a new situation. Definitely was challenges, just being in a place I hadn't been before. But just lean on my faith, lean on the people in this locker room, lean on family, and again, I'm super grateful for where I'm at today, where I was at last week, where I've been at throughout everything. Again, obviously there's stuff that's out of my control and stuff that will go well in life and stuff that won't. But you know, I'm blessed. There's a lot of things in my life that I'm super grateful for.
So there's Bryce talking about the week and preparing for this game and this opportunity, how he's approached it. And again, going back to Mark's comments and something that I feel, I want to hear a little bit more like, yeah, I can't wait to get back out there. I've learned some things. I got a different perspective. But he just continues to say, like, everything's the same. Like, I always try to get better. I always do this. And it doesn't give me that edge that I feel like he needs to have. Like, if you're coming back, if you're the #1 overall draft pick, you've had not the best career to start the NFL, one of the more recent poor performances of a #1 pick. I get it. You don't want to go too high and come out with all this bravado, but you want to say some things that say, like, I have seen something different. But he's saying, like, there is nothing different. And that concerns me. Like, coming back from this loss that he's been having has been challenging, right? So, and then you're about to play one of the top defenses there is here in the NFL, and you're just kind of like, But we'll see. You know, we're going to report to you what happens. We're going to be live post-game during the game. We're going to continue to get you up to date on Twitter. And just want to say there will be nobody else that'll get you pictures from the game as quickly as we will today. Bryce and the company out here playing these Broncos. So if you want to see some good photos, we have the best guy in the business, Patrick Snyder, out here taking photos. And we've already been uploading those to Twitter. So please continue to check us out on Twitter. I heard that the Inactives are out. So I'm going to go ahead and get that list ready for you guys, and we'll talk about that right now. Meanwhile, I'll zoom out a little bit so you all can enjoy some more of the game action going on behind me here. Uh-oh. Didn't want to come in too tight. And again, I'm just getting the Inactives ready for you guys to be on the screen. Probably about 30 more seconds. I'll have this up on the screen for everybody. Not really any surprises. And I know somebody already put it out there in the comments. Bryson, not at all a surprise there that he is inactive today. We also have quarterback Andy Dalton. Not a surprise that he is inactive today as well, as they activated Jack Plummer just the other day. We also have safety Jamie Robinson, cornerback Dane Jackson. No surprises there. Shamar Bartholomew. Offensive tackle Yash Neisman. And then defensive end Jonathan Harris. So those are your inactives for today. Let me go ahead and zoom back in just a little bit here. All right. Let's continue to rock and roll through this show today, get you guys up to date. I'm going to go ahead and also go over the transactions, recent transactions. So those were the inactives for today. We also had some transactions that took place yesterday. Placed safety Nick Scott on injured reserve, so that means Scott's going to miss 4 games. Again, that's this defense continuing to get the injury bug, and that means that he's going to be out for at least 4 weeks when he get put on IR. Jordan Fuller looks like he's going to be active today since he was not on that inactive list, right? Yep, so that looks good for him. We also activated Sam Franklin, and Sam's likely going to be that replacement for Jordan, who's out. He'll likely be playing safety for us. Yes, Sam Franklin is back. That's pretty cool. That guy is certainly a very vocal guy in his locker room. But you also have, behind Sam Franklin, you also have Lonnie Johnson and then undrafted free agent Damani Richardson, who could get some playing time today back there in that defensive secondary as we continue to battle with the injuries that we have. Russ Yeast, he was signed to the active roster. Russ has about 3 years experience in the NFL. Could be a guy that helps out as well. And then we activated Caleb Farley and activated Jake Plummer. A little bit backwards here because I just read to you guys the inactives, but this is why, for me, that list of our inactives wasn't that surprising. Now, which starts in 74 minutes, 53 seconds, Broncos and the Panthers. Guys still warming up behind us. Let's go ahead and get you up to date for this game. Panthers coming to this game, unfortunately, 1-6 after their defeat last weekend in Washington. Final score to that game was 40. Washington Commanders, Carolina Panthers 7. 1-6, yeah, that doesn't mean too good of a chance of making the playoffs for this Panthers team, as only a handful of teams have made it to the playoffs after starting 1-6. Last time it happened was back in sometime in the 90s, so quite a while ago. Broncos come in 4-3 after beating the Saints 33-10. The Broncos have actually beaten every NFC South opponent they faced so far this season. Again, they just recently beat the Saints. Early this year in Week 3, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Final score in that game was 26-7. So they got it out right now for the NFC South. We'll see what happens today as they take on the Carolina Panthers. This will mark the 8th time that these two teams have faced each other, not including the postseason. But in those 8 times, Carolina is on the losing end. They've won 2 times. The Denver Broncos have won 5 times. Today will be the 8th matchup, and we will see where it goes. Let's talk about how these two teams stack up, both on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Let's start with the defensive side, all right, because that's where we know the Carolina Panthers team has been struggling to get it done. Unfortunately, we don't have any rankings in the top 10. This is where the struggle is, and you see that the Broncos defense, their worst rating is 18th, and then all their other ratings are 10 or above. But the Carolina Panthers, we're struggling to get pressure on the quarterback, 31st out of 32. The absolute worst in points allowed per game at 34.7. And then you look on the other side there, Broncos are 3rd in the league, allowing just 15 points per game. So offensively, we already knew it. We got it cut out for us. And then Chuba's going to have some challenges, right? Chuba had his toughest game last week against the Commanders, but could he be facing an even tougher team today as the 6th best run defense? Basically 4 yards a carry that they're allowing. And if you think that's impressive, just know this. for the Broncos last week. They played the Saints, and they held Kamara to 1.5 yards per carry. He only ended up getting 10 carries. So, you know, it could be some tough sledding for this Panthers team today. Let's go ahead and flip on over to the offensive side, where we now have Bryce Young back there as your starting quarterback. And you see the Broncos and how they rate as well right now. Broncos, rushing yards per attempt, 10th in the league. Sacks, hey, they keep Bo Nix upright. So you can actually count on that continue to happen. Not count on, but you can say that's a potential that'll just continue today, that Bo Nix will stay up, have some time in the pocket. It's going to be a challenge. Now, fortunately, the Broncos don't have really big receiving threats. So that may help us out, that we may not have the risk of the big chunk plays happening, right? And maybe can keep ourselves in this game some kind of way. But they keep Bo Nix pretty clean. Offensive side for the Panthers, we do a good job as well keeping our quarterback clean. Other things, third down efficiency, not good at all, 30th. And when do you need third down efficiency? Well, you need it in any week in the NFL, but you certainly need it when you may need to try to play some possession ball, some is my ball, and eat up the clock. You got to be able to convert those third downs. And able to convert those third downs, you either got to have a really good running game, but you still have to have a mix of the run game with the pass game. We're going to see pretty quickly what plan that Dave Canales has for Bryce Young today. Said earlier this week, Dave said, you know, obviously with any quarterback, you want to try to get them into a rhythm early. You want to try to get them some successful plays. He's going to be trying to do that. I don't want to be Debbie, but you just don't know what that's going to be, right? You just don't know. Let's also take a look at the currents right now. That is not the right graphic. Let's get the right graphic up for you all. Here we go. Currently, Panthers sit in 4th place. Atlanta at the top, 4-3. Tampa's been bit by the injury bug, so we'll see how they continue to play out. And then you have New Orleans at 2-5. Carolina there at 1-6. Look at that point differential. Look at that point differential here. That is a challenge today, that point differential, as the Carolina Panthers are currently on pace to have the worst amount of points scored on them in an NFL season right now. One other thing I want to talk about, then we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. So you guys have been pretty active in the comments. I like it. I love it. I appreciate it. So we're going to spend some time getting into those comments. We got former Panthers that were Broncos, a really big list. A lot of that is because defensive coordinator Ivero was here as a coordinator in Denver a couple of years back. So as we've dealt with so many injuries and we're trying to pick up players and get players in the offseason, you know, anytime that you can have a connection with the defensive coordinator, feels like that helps get that guy up to speed quicker and may be able to help benefit the entire team. Nevertheless, the list of players formerly on the Broncos that are now in the Carolina Panthers would include outside linebacker Thomas Nkoum, linebacker Josie Jewell, defensive end Deshaun Williams, and, of course, I mentioned coach there, Ivero. And we have plenty of other coaches as well that have actually been a part of this Broncos team that's now with the Panthers. No Panthers are currently on the Broncos, or should I say no former Panthers are currently playing with the Denver Broncos. So that is the list of players to kind of get you guys up to date with everything. And we're going to go ahead and see what you guys want to talk about here in just a second.
Please welcome DJ Squizzy Taylor.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see what questions we can get through before we get out of here. Again, super chats, always welcome and appreciated. Is Dom Capers still assisting as defensive coach? Yes, Dom Capers is still assisting as defensive coach. And often I'll see him walking around the sidelines pregame. I haven't seen him yet today, but Dom Capers, Leonard, is indeed still an assistant coach for the Carolina Panthers. Shakay, what are you talking about here? FYI, if the Panthers win, Panthers fans in South and North Carolina will win free Bojangles thanks to Bow Time. Okay. So Shaquette says, hey, let's give a hat tip to Panthers owner David Tepper, who held a benefit concert yesterday in Charlotte. I heard that there was some inclement weather, that everybody, they had a shelter in place typically. I'm sorry, a temporary seek shelter, and ended up having a very successful concert for the people in Nashville and everywhere that was affected by a hurricane. I think it's Helen, and raised over $20 million yesterday for that cause. So that's great to see. Good job by David Tepper doing something for the community there. All right, let's see if we can get through a few questions before we get out of here. Did you guys give me some score predictions for today and what you feel may happen? Let's see what we got here. T. Green says, hello, everyone. Despite all Bryce Young's struggles, I feel like he will have his best game of the season today. Wouldn't be mad at it. I like it. We need positive energy. We need positive energy. That would be great. Bryce's best performance will be pretending to be, oh, come on, Roadmaster. Come on now. Yeah, just going to try to go through a few more comments before we get out of here. Dank Merckx, get ready to see a million screen pass plays because that's all that Bryce Young can do. So that's a concern of mine too. That's a valid comment and a concern of mine as well. Will Bryce get out of that check down Bryce guy? He will. Now, when he played in Chicago, he threw the ball downfield when he came in late in Chicago. He didn't do that last week against the Commanders. So I think, and I hope, that we're not the only ones out there thinking, hey, everybody knows that Bryce is check down central. And we want to give ourselves a chance to win. My plea to first-year coach Dave Canales is say, hey, everybody's expecting all these check downs from Bryce. That's what we're all expecting. So why not first play of the game, draw something up? And you also know that, hey, they might come with what you may hear referred to as a zero blitz, which is just sending everybody at Bryce to see if he's still rattled or not. Just throw the ball downfield early and just see what happens. See if they say, okay, well, maybe they will try to do something different. Make that defender think just for a second. That's all the offenses are trying to do. You know, they don't have 50 different plays that they run during the game. They only have like 15, 20 plays that they run during the game. But what they do is they dress it up differently. They change the formations They change the formations that they run those plays out of just to make the defense think just a little bit more of a second to get an advantage. So hopefully we'll see something like that. Dank, appreciate the comments very much. We're going to try to get through some more comments here. It is a security guard that you would not expect to be dancing that is dancing his butt off right next to me. And like when I tell you you would not expect him to be dancing, he is dancing. I will say I am enjoying the music here in Denver, and it's not as crazy loud as it was in Washington, D.C. Jackson White, tell him Charlotte says hello. Okay. Chuba is 14 yards away from passing Tim Biakabatuka become the 6th Panther all-time rusher. I haven't verified that stat, but again, you guys are often very good at your stats that you bring to the table. So thank you, Richter, for bringing that comment out there. I like this. Bring Bryce on the show. Would love to bring Bryce on the show, but we're not allowed, strictly forbidden from interviewing players on the field, especially before the game. Now, maybe after the game, but especially before the game. But I like where you're going there. See if we got anything else before we get out of here. It will be a minor miracle if we score a single offensive TD. Bryce hasn't had a passing TD since Christmas Eve. Again, not denying the amount of obstacles that are faced by this team today. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give one person an opportunity to come on the show, state a question, ask a question. So I just put the link in the comments. Click on that link. I know it's about a 30-second delay, but I'm going to give you guys an opportunity, one person to call in, whoever calls in first. The link is in the comments right now. Click on that and come join the show. Ask me a question before I get off the field here. Meanwhile, as I wait for that question to come in, I'm going to step to the side, let you all enjoy a view of the game until I hear if somebody wants to call in or not. And what we're going to do once we wrap up here is go upstairs into the press box and start to report on the game, get you guys pictures and things like that going for the game action. And let's see if anybody has called in yet. Again, just got a few more minutes before we wrap this up and go live. So, I'm not go live, we're live now. But yeah, I'll go ahead and give you guys a view of everything that's going on in case anybody wants to call in. Let me give you, and the weather is beautiful here. And there's Ivero, defensive coordinator Ivero, walking by, our photographer Patrick Snyder, about to get a picture of him. And you can imagine that Ivero has a lot of people that he's going to talk to here in Denver, as he was previously defensive coordinator here in Denver. And here you got our head coach Dave Canales about to walk by. Dave Canales getting ready to coach his first game in Denver. There you go. Some good stuff, right? Some good stuff. Some good bonus coverage as we get ready to wrap up today's broadcast here live from Denver. So let me walk right back around here to get ready to wrap up everything. Did you enjoy the show? I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm about to head up to the press box to continue to report on the game, so please stay on Twitter. We're going to have photos immediately as soon as the action's happening that we're going to be posting, so hopefully you all enjoy that. Check that out. Hit the like button. Help us continue to grow and expand. And I will see you about an hour or so after the game to wrap up today's action. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Chris Jenkins, live at Empower Field at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado.